Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to KHM Today, your weekly go-to resource for industry news and straight-up fun. I am your host, Carolyn Orff, and we are live in the Cleveland office for the very first time. So sorry we're a few minutes late. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, but look, everyone is here. We're so excited. And Vicki Barrett, we saw you on first or second today. So we're so happy that you're on with us again after being with us for the last 2 days. So we're doing a breakdown today, you guys. It's kind of like the after the Emmys or the Oscars party. We are.
Wait, you saying we look like crap or something?
We are rejuvenated. We are exhausted. We are elated. We are all sorts of emotions. So we're going to break that down for you guys today. But before we get started, remember it's October and it is the month of spooky Halloween things, and our resident Halloween expert, Ashley Newton from the KHM marketing team, is going to share with us a very spooky cocktail so we can start off our day. So welcome, Ashley.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. As promised, I am back and I'll keep coming back for the rest of the month. And today we're going to get a little tipsy. We're going to be making, we earned it. We earned it. No, okay, so this is going to seem very familiar to everybody out there. It's basically a Shirley temple, but with my sort of spin on it. You may have heard it called a Dirty Shirly, but we're taking it to the next level today, and I'm going to call it a transfusion cocktail. Okay, so it's going to be, yes, okay. It's going to be fun. It's going to be good. Okay, so what I love about this drink is, of course, it's based off of a non-alcoholic beverage. So if you're not in the mood for booze, or if you got some underage friends or kids or whatever, you can easily adapt it and it can still have fun at the whole party, right? So who here today is going to be passing on the booze? I think I saw two. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do that. The other fun thing about this is if you want to make it a double, you can do that too. That's your business. Not going to judge you there. All right. So. Oh yeah, even my shot glasses have PGP, guys. That's just who I am as a person, okay? All right, so we're gonna keep them separate. So we're gonna make our virgins first. So we're just gonna go ahead and do 4 parts of any lemon lime soda. Again, that's 4 parts. I went with 7-Up because it's what they had at Walgreens. You can go with whatever floats your boat, though.
Well, you can bartend my next party. Yeah.
Can I dress up?
Yeah.
Can I show up in costume?
No problem. Does it need to be a lemon lime soda, or does it work with anything?
The internet told me it needed to be lemon lime. But I know I've done one with like a cranberry or like any like a flavored 7-Up or Sprite.
Okay.
3 and I'm kind of
I think
counting
that's
there. I swear I haven't hold one
Is that
yet.
the virgin one? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really virgin.
Now we're gonna break out our grenadine here. I don't know if you need to shake it. I just do that. So if you don't need to shake it, let me know in the comments. If I'm doing this all wrong, we can learn together. All right, now to get this out, I'm gonna go ahead and actually pour it in a little shot glass as well, just so I don't need to dig in there with my syringes. All right, fill it up. It's nice and thick.
Does anyone know what grenadine is?
It's Robitussin. That's all I kept thinking was Robitussin.
Seriously.
Now, I got these little plastic syringes. I actually spent a bunch of money on them, which is against my rule. It's against my rule. But they work a lot better than the cheap ones when it comes to like practicality. So you can find them for like $3 at Walmart, or you can go to a Halloween store and spend just a little bit more, and it gives you an easier pull there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get somebody started here. So I'm gonna just pull up. Ooh, look how spooky already. All right. And then, do you want me to do it for you, or do you want to infuse your own?
You go right ahead and
All
infuse.
right. So now, if you were serving this at a party, you could go ahead and just serve them just like that. You could set them on the side, and then it's, you know, up to. I wish I could get super close, but I can't. But then you just squeeze it in there, and you can tell it just sort of.
So that's why you need 5 different ones, is because you can throw it in.
Yeah, but you guys aren't keeping these. I paid for these. And then if you want, you can even use it to stir. So, but I assume since you don't have anywhere to put it, you just want your turn.
Okay.
There you go.
So essentially, okay, so that's essentially a non-alcoholic Shirley temple.
Absolutely. And you can put in the maraschino cherries if you want.
Dirty Shirly.
That makes it sound more grown up.
But I didn't put in, I did not put in the maraschino cherries because I wanted it to have that super clear look beforehand.
And the glasses are real spooky too. I don't know if you can tell through the video, but the skeleton hair, spider on one of them.
It just cracks me up the things that we buy when we love something like a holiday.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. You know, it's so funny. You guys, you can see that we're in the studio, so the camera is a little bit away, and Robbie's sending me notes. Those of you that were KTA know I can't see distance. So he's got these notes, and I'm like, what is that say? But I believe it said, Michelle Worth, so great to meet all of you. So Michelle, wonderful to meet you as well. I'm so glad that you're tuning in today.
All right, now I'm bringing out the big guns. This is what happens. This is what happens when you ask your boyfriend to pick up some vodka for work. He goes, "Oh, you had a tough day, okay." And then he cracked into it himself. So this is what we're working with, though. All right, so
It's from Texas.
That's right.
the more you know. So if you're making these alcoholic, you want to do the same thing, but you do a 1 to 4 part ratio.
I was gonna say 4.
Unless you want to be making yourself a double,
Yeah,
I do not judge.
Double,
We
double.
still have a show to do.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and just pour them all at once into these cups, so they'll be good to go. And I'm not pouring to the tip top just because I don't trust myself, but like I said in my craft, measure with your heart.
Especially the gym.
All right, now we'll get our another 7-Up or whatever lemon lime soda is your preference. And we'll remember what shot glass we were using. Oh, just get a whole shot glass. Keep it clean, keep it clean. All right, now if you can, go ahead and fit 4 parts into there. We're gonna cut it a little close. So these are gonna be strong. These are gonna be strong.
So add extra 7-Up for mediums.
I think we'll make it.
Go far.
Woo! Woo! And that's what happens when you do it live, people. Always exciting. Always exciting.
Now, are all those glasses the same size?
Mm.
We'll find that out.
Good question.
Right.
This one looks like it is a little bit smaller than our other friends there.
So you guys, while we're waiting for Ashley to finish up our beverages, Ashley, you were around KTA.
Oh, Jesus.
What'd you do?
Continue talking, Carolyn.
Ashley, you were around KTA the last 48 hours. What was your impression, your takeaway?
Oh my gosh.
And
Well,
you were kind of like, you were camera, you were also presenter.
I wear many hats. No, I mean, I'm more behind the scenes typically in my role. So anytime that I can get out there and actually be with the agents, and the energy at this event was unlike anything else that I had experienced. I mean, I was just happy to be there.
It was interesting to see you knew that the event was going to be fun, right? That was kind of a given when you saw 150 people on the list. But I was so pleasantly surprised by the energy and the content that came through. But the energy, let's start because we're ready to have a cocktail here. The opening night, the reception, the DJ, the dancing. Thank you.
Conga line.
The conga line. Thank you, Linda Allen. It was really just, I wasn't expecting it. I kind of was expecting people to be a little more reserved.
Wait a minute, it works here.
Yeah. But it was so amazing. When you walked in that room and saw all these people raring to go, what did you think, Wanda?
Oh my gosh, the energy, I kind of agree here. And the energy was just amazing. And everybody just wanted to dance and get to know it. And it was one of those things where you go, oh, I haven't seen you forever. I mean, I saw my roommate for my very first KHM event. And it was just like, it was just so powerful. It was so, your heart just jumped. It was just a lot of energy,
Well, let's cheers because
Hold off on your tears. I have one more.
Oh,
I have one more thing, and then I'm just gonna take my drink and I'm gonna get back to my desk. But if you wanted to sort of class this up, take it one more step, I want to show you how to do a sugared rim for this. I did hot honey because it's Halloween, trick and treat, right? Need a little bit of spice with my sugar. But you could use simple syrup, any honey that you like. And then you just want to take your cup,
I never
roll
knew
it in.
to turn the glass.
So you just do a
I
boom.
do it, yeah, straight down. All right. I
And then
did it.
I sort of shake any little guys. So again, this is just a paper plate.
Oh!
And that was just 7-Up. It's all fine. And then I got sugar in the box that I'm not going to it. There's a little nog in there.
Is that black sugar?
It is.
That's cool.
So now I cover it up, and it kind of even goes with my cheap little mummy glass here from Walmart too. You can't see. I'll show you on the way out. Now, what? Same thing. For that, to save time here, we're just gonna guess.
Oh, yeah.
What am I doing here, people? Measuring with my heart. Now, you know I can't skimp out on my last and favorite step, which is going to be using the syringe here for my grenadine addition. Oh, I need a little more. That was pathetic. That was weak. So we're gonna add just a splash more.
I know, it's like, what was that?
Is there a fly in yours or? You see that? No, oh, it's a little bit of honey drip.
It's
with
that. See, that's what's fun about. You never know. You never know.
Don't worry, Robbie's drinking it. It's
All right, now I'm gonna cheers to
Yeah.
beautiful people, and then I'm gonna get out here.
Thanks for the drink.
Yeah.
That's why they keep me around, you know?
Halloween
Hey.
Queen.
Cheers.
Cheers. To a great event.
Cheers, yeah.
Cheers to the executive team, the marketing team, the operations team, and the events team. Oh my goodness, Ashley, Jason, you did a great job, and we're so thankful for you. So cheers.
This is pretty good, you guys. Hope you tried it home. Drop a comment, hashtag KHM Today.
Mine's that. Is yours?
I'm gonna,
Taste it.
yours is.
That's the one with the Tito's.
That's
It's
actually
one
good.
of those that you make and then you don't realize how quickly it's going down, and the next thing you know,
All right.
it's 3:30 and you're on the floor. Okay, so let's get back to KTA. So the cocktail reception and the dancing was super fun. The next day we got up and we started with a wonderful welcome. We had, and we started with a pinnacle panel. And these were 5-6 agents that are pinnacle level status. Bill, you moderated that. Some great questions. What were some of the things that you were surprised to hear?
You know, those typically become emotional because of what we've gone through in the last 19 months, and to hear from our experienced agents of how tough it was on them to cancel $1 million potentially worth of travel. But to hear, I think that one of the themes throughout the entire time was inspiration, right? There was a lot of inspiration, but I'll let you guys talk about some of those. I just want to talk about Mike Murillo's and his van, right? So, Mike, you are just an amazing guy, and the fact that you bought a van to take your clients directly to the airport or the cruise port is amazing. So as you're talking about the van, we're thinking, oh, he bought like a 10-year-old used van, he's driving around some minivan. It's a brand new, like souped up van.
Gorgeous. With
Captain's
interior
chair,
lighting,
it's like inside. That's what we called them when we were kids. But those captain's chairs, it's just an amazing van. So I kind of thought, wow, this guy's in it for the long haul, right? He's an agent that is serious about what he's doing, and he wants to, you know, show his clients exactly what he's in business for and how he wants to develop those relationships with his customers.
Well, and you think about it, you know, he explained it as, I have to set myself apart. How can I set myself apart? So Mike's vision was, I'm going to buy a van because parking in the Los Angeles area is crazy and transportation. So what value can I provide? My takeaway was, well, it doesn't have to be a van. The van to me can be a basket of chocolate chip cookies when a client comes home. It can be that thank you card. It can be, you know, something that is reminiscent of their trip. So, you know, for Mike, it's his van. What could it be for me? So did anyone else have a takeaway?
One thing that I took away from that was when he talked about doing this to get his clients used to a different level of service, that he wanted them to have a luxurious trip to the port or to the airport, and that might get them thinking about more higher service level suppliers for the future. And I thought that was great. And then he has a TV that runs on the inside that has information going about Regent's cruises or something like that. So they're already thinking about where can I go after this?
Yeah, it's planting the
And
seed.
I thought that was really good.
He clearly is an agent who didn't spend the last 18 months just sitting back
Yep.
and waiting.
Right.
He really figured out how to make the best of a bad situation. And I just think it's going to be fascinating to watch what he does.
Yeah.
Wanda or Matt?
I was just
that
gonna
struck you?
say, listening to the panel in general, knowing that these were rock star agents, have been for a while, and many of them never faced anything like this in their careers, and how they got through it, and how they planned for the future, and the things that they decided that they needed to do when things recovered, what they were gonna do differently, how they prepared. I think we were talking a little bit before, you had mentioned, some of them paid off loans and credit cards and stuff, and were preparing so that they could rebound faster when things came back. So I just found that inspiring.
I think it would be interesting to do a poll of agents for how many people prepare for emergencies, and how many people use their business funds to save for the future or save for an emergency, or if this just kind of is, it goes in and then it comes back out in some fashion. Because that was a huge thing for me to hear. I'm a big saver. I'm a big prepare for the unknown. And to hear that other people took that and did something like that when no money was coming in. When no money was coming in and these people are paying off debt. I just thought that was extraordinary, because I can tell you the rest of the country was not doing that.
Yeah,
They were creating debt. So Wanda?
Yeah, one thing that stuck out to me was kind of exactly what you were talking about. Me being a numbers person and a business person, it was clear to me that these people on this panel were business people, because they did what any business would have to do. They pivoted, they reorganized or restructured from the standpoint of their financial pieces, found out what else can I do to make a difference and be different, and therefore bring in more clients or get them to the next level, as was stated. So, I mean, that was very impactful to me. And I think about Emily's discussion that she provided, and, she's a top agent, and to understand that, she was not immune to everything that took place. She faced several things, and again, created a way to pivot, a way to make difference, and a way to make sure that the coming future, by paying off debt, et cetera, was going to be in a totally different light. I mean, I was very much impressed by, if you would, the resilience of everybody on that board.
I agree with that.
Well, and I think it's what I also heard, and I think you were echoing this, is that they did all of this, but they also did it with the emotional piece of, this stinks. I don't want to do this. It's not like they just woke up and were like, pandemic, I got this. This is what we're going to do. No, there was a period of sorrow and mourning, and I don't want to be in this position, but very quickly it needed to shift. And I think that was the important piece for me, is I don't think I have met one person that was immune to the sadness and the loss. And I think there were so many agents that expressed that they felt comfortable in this space to wallow and then pick themselves up and move forward.
Well, one other thing that kind of stood out to me, we talk about how those overcome the scenario of being impacted by COVID, but let's talk about Dee for a minute. I mean, Dee made the point, she says, I didn't necessarily have the financial hardship that some of you had in this based on my retirement and so forth and so on. But what I did do was search out those that were having challenges and see how I could help them.
Oh, gosh.
That was like really a big point to me, was that, I wasn't necessarily in the deep with it, but I realized that my neighbor was, and I was willing to be there to be of support to them. And I think that was just so key. And everybody that was there, you felt that energy on how people were being supportive to one another. I think that was a lot of the conversation as well, that, I was able to reach out to someone that really understood, and was able to understand, I'm in a business and I'm running a business and I'm having some difficulty, and I found support. And I found that very, very remarkable, very commendable to Dee, and, how she, adjusted with that. Absolutely.
One thing I think with both of the panels was their willingness to share,
Absolutely.
to open up to all of us in a room full of people that they may not have known, very many people, and just open up and talk about those feelings and what it was like.
And we saw that from the next panel, which
Yes.
was our navigators to base camp. And there were 5 agents, for those of you that weren't there, who were very nervous to sit up there on stage and answer questions about themselves.
Who was nervous? Monique?
Look, I was saying the same thing. We're not talking about Monique.
She said she was nervous.
She
When she got up there.
Excellent.
petrified. She told me she did not look at any of the questions in advance because she knew if she did, she wouldn't be genuine. She would be too rehearsed. And to our entire panel, I don't know, I just loved the fact that they all stretched from their comfort zone.
Yeah, they did.
Each and every one of them took a deep breath.
Yeah.
And just kind of stretch themselves, either, financially to make changes within their business and grow it, or personally.
Wasn't it Benita who said that you asked her what her goals are for 2022?
Yes.
And didn't she say she wanted to get on a cruise, and then she won the cruise?
She won, that's right, she did. Well, and that was a lot of them, and they reflected on that from the Pinnacle panel, right? If you have any advice for those
Yeah.
that are not
Get out
selling
there.
at this level, get out
there.
there, make that commitment. And Benita said it, and Monique said it, and I remember there was a table of us, and prizes were being given away. And I looked at someone and I said, well, if I was one of these cruise lines or land offers, I would have just handed Monique and said, come on my cruise line.
So true.
Clearly you want to do this. And then Benita turned around and won the cruise from Celebrity. I think they won.
Oh, was it Celebrity?
I think it
Was
was
it the
Celebrity.
4 night? Or no, I thought it was
No,
a 2-night and 3 inaugural.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was.
And it could be the
Maybe it
APEX.
could have been, I
Maybe it's
can't
gonna be on
remember.
the APEX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was exciting, but I really, and the other one that struck me was Brian Miller, our Kentucky bourbon guy. I love the fact that he said, yeah, I've been around for a long time and I'm on base camp and I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important for people to be comfortable
Absolutely.
where they are in their journey. And so for some people, the journey is going to stop there because that's the bandwidth that they have within their everyday life. And who knows, I see him doing more. Just because, gosh, who wouldn't want to travel with him?
Yeah. Right.
So anything that you guys heard from those base camp navigator agents that struck
I
you?
like the agent who was pretty shy, but she mustered up the courage to go talk to someone to get the business,
Mhm.
And her husband needed to give her some words of encouragement and stuff, and I think she won the business in that. And this was pre-pandemic,
Yes.
right?
Lois.
Lois, yeah. And I thought that was just a cool story. Someone who's not necessarily outgoing and wants to get out there, but was going to go ahead and do it for a business.
Well, and you always say that. You got to ask for it,
Yeah.
right? You got to ask for the business. Otherwise, you're just talking travel.
Well, I say it, and it's because I've struggled with that too. That's, I'm like, I don't like rejection, So I've struggled with it, but I've noticed whenever I went out and I asked for it, positive things happened.
Yeah.
I made a better connection, and maybe if it wasn't that person who wanted it, they might have known someone who wanted, you know what, this isn't really what I want to do right now, but I know this other business over here that might want to work with you. And so go for it.
Yeah. So then we had some supplier panels. We had a land panel and a cruise panel. And these are always interesting because it's a group of competitors up on a stage. And you're always curious, you're kind of chuckling, you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of fun to watch. I think it's really interesting. The cruise panel I thought was really wonderful. And
Inspirational.
Yeah.
I mean, they were amazing.
I felt like they were a true reflection of what the last 16 months has looked like for cruise industry. They have been so collaborative on every level of, from health panels to protocols. I just feel like there's a constant phone being picked up between the cruise lines.
Co-opetition.
Co-opetition,
Yes.
yes. Did they say
They
that?
said co-opetition.
Oh, I love that. See, I didn't hear that. What were some of the things that surprised you most?
I loved how Viking talked about how they had put labs on all of their ships to do the PCR test, et cetera. So I thought that was very interesting that they have a chief health officer to do different things for them that were keeping them in line from that perspective. But I also, one of the things I really loved in that panel was the statistics. Again, being the numbers person, they talked a lot about statistics. How many of our ships are in the water today? How many more that we have that will be going in the water, and when will it go in the water, so forth and so on. So I thought that their positivity and the fact that they made it very clear they've got business right now on the books going for the future. The future is very, very bright, and we should be feeling really good about where we're going. So I really love those statistics that they brought forth.
Wanda, do you know when it was Matthew Zion, right, who was on the panel, when he said that the World Health person came on and said, you don't have laboratories on your ships. Do you know what I thought they said? Lavatory. And I'm like, to myself, every time you have to go to the bathroom, you have to go back to your stateroom. Really? That's the way it is? And then I started to make the connection with the rest of the sentence. But I was like, that's weird. No one has ever mentioned that before. Like, I feel like that's something someone would say. But yes, I agree. I liked hearing 50% are in now.
Yes.
In 2 months, we've got 10 more percent.
Yes.
That made me feel
over
really good.
over 2 million guests have already sailed this year.
Yeah.
And they just are getting started.
surprising,
I had no idea over 2 million people at cruises this year.
Yeah.
Well, and what about the guest satisfaction rates?
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
100% satisfaction. Everyone is satisfied when they come.
And
It's-
the crews were so happy to have guests back. They were going above and beyond because they wanted them to really feel their gratitude and appreciation for being there and providing them that additional income and ability to service them.
Right.
The bold moves that they've been taking. And they mentioned some of them, like, wow, these are pretty bold moves. Like one of my favorite ones was celebrity. If you get COVID on the ship,
Yes.
they're going to fly you home on a private jet.
Yes.
Amazing.
And they're going to take you, and they're going to get a
more
limousine that takes you home from the airport.
Yes.
I had no idea that was going on, or, I don't know that anybody's used it yet, but I'm just saying, I didn't know that was an offer.
Oh, yeah, I take a positive test for my last day of the cruise.
Just so you
In the
can get
limo,
that.
private flight,
You walk to your own test. Had that line.
Yeah, and then I see your line.
I liked how Matthew with Viking, they gave away all of those ocean cruises to our agents,
Yes.
to multiple agents in the industry. Wasn't extremely boastful about that, right? He didn't even play that up, right? And I think that there's agents sitting out there going, I was on your ship and it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And that didn't even placate into it. He just played along with the idea that he was on with other contemporary lines when he's been clearly in a luxury position.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I love how they all got along. It scared me a little bit when Justin gave the facts that they lose, how many billions they are losing every single month.
Yeah.
That made me take a step back and think, oh my gosh. Because when
That
we
makes
think
you
back,
sit up and notice.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. When we think about, I don't know if you guys remember, but Norwegian only had X amount of dollars to get them through X amount of time.
Yes.
And I'm like, that time is come and gone. Like, what's happening? And I don't want to jump ahead, but I want to get to what Charlie said in the last thing that Charlie said. And I don't want to jump ahead, but I want to say now, during the cruise portion, that 92 ships are being built
Yes.
for the next 5 years.
awesome.
I mean, that's
That is
crazy, right?
awesome.
So they've got to make it in order to sustain that.
There was a lot of positivity there, and there probably an industry that shouldn't be so positive. Like,
Right.
well, and not to jump ahead, but we had wonderful researchers from Cleveland
Oh my gosh, yes.
Cleveland Research.
and Cleveland Research. And the very last graph they showed, it was like cruise travel, and everything was below the line. And I'm like flipping it upside down. This makes me feel better, But the cruise lines had every reason to feel low,
Yes.
yet the positivity from them
That's amazing.
is crazy, and the opportunities for agents are nuts.
They kept their BDMs.
yes.
Everyone is still here in place, which amazes me.
Yep. And their
That's really
staff
cool.
is so happy that you're back.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I really feel like behind the scenes, some people made some tremendous sacrifices that we're just not hearing about.
Well,
Because
can we just talk about it? So Vicky Freed took half cut pay. Dondra, half cut pay. So, I mean, these are $200,000 and $300,000 reductions in pay.
Yeah.
All the way up. I mean, all the way up to top and top of the ladder. They all took half-cut pays.
I mean,
So
that's a sacrifice.
that's a sacrifice.
That's a
They all made big
sacrifice. You have
sacrifices.
to love
Yeah.
who you work for.
Everyone at CLIA took a half-cut pay.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, and that's the sort of stuff you don't hear.
Yeah, you do
Yeah.
not. Yeah, absolutely.
So our land panel. Interesting, really interesting, because we had all levels of people. We had several BDMs. We had, I think, Renz from AAB as Director of Operations. Jackie
Six.
Marks was there.
Mhm.
I know that you had a comment because you really liked something that Jackie said.
Yeah, I'll talk about it. I wanted to say one thing first about both the panels, the way they interacted with each other, and they would joke with each other
Yeah.
and make fun of each
Yeah.
other.
There was
And
a
they kept
cooperation.
Delta
Yeah.
Vacations,
Yeah.
they kept making fun of them.
And Delta
Delta,
Yeah.
and it's going to be the American Airlines variant next time. So it's gonna be fun. But with Jackie,
That didn't turn out so fun.
Oh.
I heard later that was not fun.
They laughed on stage.
They did laugh on stage, but not on stage.
this is the behind the
Those
scenes
behind the scenes.
Scenes.
that we're giving you here.
Yeah.
But what I liked what Jackie was very inspirational for me because she quoted, because she came from Mark Travel, and she quoted one of the Lamakia guys who founded Mark Travel as it was something about, it's not that you fell down, it's that you got back up again.
Oh, Vince Lombardi, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Vince Lombardi.
Yeah,
He said,
Vince
okay.
Lombardi from Packard.
And I didn't know, I haven't heard that quote before, but it made me think, because my whole thing getting through this was Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
And that song, da, 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 da. I would play that as I was getting stuff done because I have to. It motivated me because you have to cancel and you got to take care of your client. And I was going to make it all 12 rounds. I don't care if they beat me up. Every time I knocked out, I'm going all 12 rounds. And so I'd play that song. I think I even posted on the Facebook group one time. I'm like, I'm going all
This
12
is the first time I have.
I've never heard that.
But I can be very private.
170 people are applauding you right
That's what got me through it.
That is awesome.
That song.
now.
And just thinking of the message of that story.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I appreciated that Jackie brought it back to gratitude.
Yes.
That even with everything that's happened, we still have things to be grateful for. And I was just really happy to hear her bring that back and make that point again, that there's always something that we are grateful for.
And at dinner with her family, she said every night at dinner, they always have to say something they're grateful for that day.
And really, when you think about it, I know that there's some disappointment in ALG in the last 19 months, but they only are on an upward swing because they've been bought by a travel company. I mean,
Right.
they're not owned by independent investors who are just looking at the bottom line, right? They're bought by a travel company.
Well, and she said that what we have to look forward to in the future is technology,
Yes.
team, and what was the other one? Transformation. I mean, it's really going to be
yes.
interesting. I hope it's a slow transformation because I feel like the last merger was like whoa,
Yep.
next day, let's transform ourselves.
We
In
need
these past
transformation.
months, there's
Yes.
been so much change
Yes.
that, yes, a slow transformation might be better for all of us.
Yeah. But I mean, there were a lot of good takeaways. But again, to me, it was the willingness to sit up there and answer the question.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Which
agree.
is not always easy
To
to do.
show up in the first place.
Well, let's
Yeah.
just give it up to them as well. They gave some great prizes.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
they did. They
Every
gave some
supplier that showed
great
up gave some
prizes.
great prizes, and I think agents were really surprised by that.
Yeah, the lady that won the biking cruise, I thought she was gonna drop on her knees and just start bawling. She was so shocked. She was like, oh, I mean, I was like,
She was ready to
8 days,
go.
8 nights.
She's like, I'm going today. Can I go today?
Yeah.
That
Wow.
was a big one.
Yes.
That's a big one.
Well, and there were a lot of big ones.
Oh,
I mean,
yes,
even
there
the
were.
donuts, like I said, Dunkin' Donuts gift
Oh,
cards and
yes.
Visa gift cards and Amazon. Who
Amazon
doesn't love that
cards.
stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm shocked that in Dee's case was not a cruise though. For
Okay,
crying out
yeah,
loud. There's still a cruise in that case.
We'll jump forward to that because I think that was so fun. We, I'm trying to think, Tuesday morning, we had 3 supplier trainings, Carnival, ALG, and Allianz. And Carnival decided to do a deal or no deal game that
Well,
was.
thanks to your help. And
Well,
your
it
trying.
was, but you guys know by now, I love games. I like interactive learning. I like people up on their feet, screaming and yelling. And Dee was our contestant, and we had 20 suitcases up on the stage, and she had to kind of walk through deal or no deal, pick the suitcase, and answer trivia questions for Carnival. And Chris did an amazing job of engaging, asking fun questions that I will never, ever forget the answer to.
Right.
I mean, I truly will.
And Dee knew
Everything.
everything.
Dee
Yeah.
knew the answers,
She
and
knew
she
the
was
answers.
lively and fun. She
Yes.
made it so fun.
She did.
So imagine 8 o'clock in the morning when people are typically like, like just trying to stay awake. The whole ballroom was just on fire. It was
Yep.
so fun to watch. And at the end of the day, what was in her case now?
Backpack or a bag or a something.
Yeah,
different.
but I don't know what was in her case, but I mean, she didn't take the books. That's what I can't get over.
I'm still autographing it today.
So props go to Jeff Cox. I didn't
Oh.
know what to expect when I
He's
said,
amazing.
Jeff, can you be the banker, right? The banker's supposed to provide,
Options.
the deal. And I kept saying, well, the prizes are this and that. So, you don't want to go so big so that she takes the deal, right? Because then we've got 29 minutes left to the thing and nothing else to do. Well, I don't know what happened, but he started coming up with these things. We've got, what was it?
Autograph.
7 books
Yeah.
in the office.
Rick's autograph.
Autograph hats with Rick Zimmerman's autograph, a
T-shirt,
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 a
t-shirt.
a
Bill
preferred
Clinton autograph.
supplier line that's
What
available from 1 to 1:15 in the morning. I mean, I don't know where he was getting this stuff, but it was hilarious. But the takeaway was, oh my gosh, learning can be fun.
Yes.
And even though I might know all the answers, it's still fun. So that was fantastic. We played bingo with ALG and bingo with Allianz, which again, travel insurance, I don't care how many times you look at it, you learn something new every single time. So they just took it away. And then of course we had our own team here at KHM doing some roundtables. And what was a highlight there?
Family Feud.
Family
Oh, yeah.
Feud.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Family
Feud.
Feud.
And well, the thing is that you don't know if you weren't at the event is we were in these breakout rooms and you're in one session and there's cheering going on. What is going on over there?
In that
Until it
room
comes
over
to
there.
you and you're like, okay, this is what they're yelling about this whole time.
But we had marketing, we had compliance and groups and supplier relations. And I think it was such an amazing way to share information. And again, we had agents that were brand new. We had agents that had been for years and years and years. But again, everyone sat there and I swear everyone walked out with something new that they didn't know before.
Absolutely.
So,
But Agent Feud was just over the top. That was
Yeah.
hilarious.
yeah. And what's it called? It was agent. Yeah, a nice way.
But it
And-
got very competitive.
It did,
Oh,
very
yeah.
much so.
Oh, yeah.
I
Very
can
much so.
tell people walking out of there steaming.
Oh, yeah.
That should have been an X.
Jeff should tell. He kept giving away. So
He
he's like,
was.
so is it, don't you mean, oh, okay.
Yep. Well, and what was interesting, and we brought it up, right, one of the questions was top 6 land destinations. What do you think, well, we were all in the room, but what is the one that you think people missed the most?
Top 6 land
It was
destinations.
the land destinations that we sell the most as a company.
So it was obvious that Mexico was in there.
Yep.
Caribbean, was it specific islands?
Very specific.
Oh, wow. Okay. Dominican?
Dominican was in there.
Okay. Jamaica?
Jamaica was in there.
Jamaica was in there.
He's forgetting the one that most people
He's
forgot,
forgetting the one, yeah. He's
Orlando.
forgetting. the
U.S. Orlando.
Yeah.
We're all thinking way out there instead of
Yes.
thinking right here at home.
Yep,
Oh, that's funny.
we were everywhere but.
Okay.
But Orlando was a big destination for this company. So,
Wow.
yep, so it was a lot of fun. And then let's just take it to the very last thing, Top Golf.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Oh,
So
my
much fun.
An event, I don't know what I was expecting. I had never been before.
Yeah.
I had not been before
Yeah.
either.
And I don't know, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a
It
lot.
was really fun. The food was great, the service was great.
The whole
and
setup was amazing. I knew that from the first day that we ever did the site visit there, Madison had something in his mind. He had a vision of how this would go. And it went exactly the way that he wanted it to go. So I cannot thank him enough for putting it together, following through with it, because there was times where, is it in the budget? Is it not in the budget? Are we gonna make this work? But he was persistent and insistent. And then when we got upstairs, which is such a nice open feeling for everyone. You know, you go bay to bay, you can talk to people, hit a few balls. I think I did pretty well. I think I won my foursome.
What's your score?
110.
I had 79.
No kidding.
Hey, but I gave you some points.
On the game.
Oh,
2
my-
points. Gave you 2 points.
That's true. That's right.
My favorite part was when you got it in the red one and it still said, points are points. Literally the red one was like, ooh.
Yeah.
But the service is fantastic. Having one server per thing was awesome. The food lineup, I just thought it was all done very
And it was good being outside.
well. Yeah, the weather
It
was
was really
perfect.
nice being outside.
And I think as we, kind of wrap up our breakdown, it sounds like we were listening a lot, kind of in rooms a lot, talking and things like that. But that engagement piece, I mean, I feel like I got to know so many agents.
Yeah.
Newer agents got to meet more experienced agents, agents that have been around for a while. And one of the things that shocked me, and I've only been here for a few years now, was the ability to walk in the room and sit with anyone.
Yeah.
And
That was
not-
something that really impressed me.
Yes,
I
That
think
it
the
was
room layout was
friendly.
perfect there.
so friendly, no intimidation, and like no clicks.
Yeah.
Yes,
And it
no,
didn't
it's-
matter if you didn't know one person in that room. Any table that you walked up to, they welcomed you.
Mhm.
Yep.
And that really impressed me.
Who are you?
Except the KHM staff table. Can't sit there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we can't do that. But before we end, can we just have Bill say on 3, all y'all?
Oh, y'all.
Oh!
Well, I do want
Bill
to say
got
that.
a lesson in how to say it, y'all,
Yes.
and
Oh, my
all
Lord.
y'all.
I will say though that, I was fortunate enough to thank a lot of people, and I did not take the opportunity to thank this team for all of your efforts, everything that you did. So I want to make sure and do that today. I just think that you guys came together and culminated for the questions and everything else that we had for the people. So I thank you all very much for that.
It was very fun. And this was our first event to
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
collaborate with everyone at KHM. So
Yeah.
it was,
So what have we been working on all day today?
Well,
oh yeah.
this is also the first time we've been together in
There
person
you go.
as an education team.
Yes.
Through virtual EDUs, through
Yes,
everything
it'll be
that's
2
gone
years.
on.
It'll be 2
This
years.
is our first time to be in person in the same place.
Yep.
And Carolyn and I had only met once.
We'd only met once, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we should say, so Robbie here, who's in the background, I met him for the first time. What was it? Was it Monday
Sunday.
night, Rob?
Sunday.
Sunday night?
Someday.
And guess what he says? I thought you were taller. Why would you think that? I'm sitting in a chair all the time, but that's what you heard because you don't know. I said to Sam, who's in the marketing department, your eyes are so blue because you can't see that
Yeah.
on a screen. You
And what'd you
see
say
that
to
in
me?
person. I said, oh, you're taller than I thought.
And what did I say?
Yes, he's after Wanda.
I said, all that time, I never knew you were that tall. I'm looking up at her.
So, I mean, it's really been incredible to share with everyone. But to Bill's point, what have we been working on this morning?
Boot camp.
Boot
Boot
camp.
camp. It's
Yeah.
back.
Yep.
It's back. So we hope those of you that want to attend boot
Get
camp
ready, the dates will
1.0.
be released like in the next
Soon.
week
We'll
or so.
come.
So we're not
We'll
seeing the
come.
dates?
No, we're not saying the
Oh.
date.
This is not the
Yeah.
reveal.
If you asked me, I couldn't tell you though. Sometime in 2021.
And I know you wanted to
2022.
potentially have a show on
Yeah.
emergency situations,
Yes.
last minute cancellations.
So we know from the little bit of stress level in the room, the recent cancellations of not only Southwest Airlines, but all of the airlines have a lot of you stressed out. And, whereby we wanted to address it today, we were talking about it, and it really is more of we need more time to strategize for all of you, and we didn't want to just kind of do it off the cuff. So my hope is next week we'll have a good plan of attack for everyone. I don't want to say it's going to be too late because I think this is going to continue to be a problem for weeks to come, unfortunately. But know that for those of you that either mentioned it at KTA or have sent emails, or posted somewhere, we're listening and we're coming up with a plan to help guide you the best way we can. Because it's a question I asked to our suppliers twice this weekend myself for clients that are traveling this weekend. So know that you're not alone. But our last thing we wanted to talk about was, because it's Halloween, what are some of the scariest places that are in your hometowns? So, yay, you're in San Antonio.
Well, but I'm not going to talk about San Antonio.
You're going to talk about Louisiana.
I'm going to talk about Louisiana because I'm from the Baton Rouge, Louisiana area. And a place that was always a big Halloween hit was the Myrtles in St. Francisville. It's a haunted plantation. I did spend the night there. And there were some spooky things that kind of happened. It didn't make me leave. There were other people who were staying that same night who left. We got up the next morning and said, where? And they left in the middle of the night. So, yeah.
Wow.
But if you ever have the opportunity, stay at the Myrtles. It's a bed and breakfast, and you get the house tour at night in the dark, and a very neat place to visit.
For me, it's Crybaby Bridge. Crybaby Bridge is right, have you been there, Ashley? Right down in Valley City, which is the town next to us. And we knew it was a scary place and took the kids there when they were young. It's like when you're under the bridge, you can hear baby crying.
Yeah,
Wow.
every town has a crybaby bridge.
Oh, really?
Mama threw a baby over.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, it's terrible.
It is,
Oh, my gosh, I do not have one of those in my town.
You go in high school, right? Like we had Kings
Yeah.
Road, where I'm from. You go, something you can do with friends in high school, and you all roll up late at night, and you scare each other somehow, and you go running back home. But
What is wrong with you people?
Debbie and I were in Salem, Massachusetts on Halloween week once.
Ooh,
Yeah,
no.
that was good.
Bill, you're the only one from Ohio. You're not going to mention Mansfield?
Oh, Mansfield Penitentiary, that's
People
right.
come all over the
Yes,
country, but
yes, Mansfield Penitentiary, right there, an hour and a half down the road.
Why is that scary?
Oh my gosh, it's a closed down penitentiary that is definitely haunted.
Shawshank Redemption was
Was
filmed.
filmed there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's big
All right.
time.
Wanda.
Oh my goodness. Charlotte itself is scary sometimes, but
Charlotte,
any day it's scary anytime, especially in traffic. But anyway, I'm gonna have to go back to a smaller place in North Carolina, to Lumberton, North Carolina, which is where my ancestry is from. And we used to have this school that I went to in middle school that was called J.P. Morgan Middle School. It's torn down now, but in one of the bathrooms, the floor did not have a floor. It was just pitch black. And the window was frosted over. And so you would go in there, and the thing at that point was to say Bloody Mary's name 3 times. Remember Bloody Mary?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And I remember people would go in and say, I bet you won't. I dare you. But it was like that floor was gone, and it was scary as all crap. And nobody would go. They'd go in and say, look, I'm going to say no more. And it run. So that was our scariest place, definitely when I was younger.
yeah, and I'm originally from San Francisco Bay Area, and one of our biggest ones there that, again, people come to from all around, it's the Winchester Mystery House. I don't know if you've heard of it, right? Sarah Winchester. They did a movie about it a few years ago. As a kid, we'd do, field trips there. Parents would take you there. It's interesting. They've expanded it. They didn't make it bigger, but they're opening up new areas of the house. Last time I went there, that were previously not open.
Oh, wow.
And you can spend the night there now.
Like, what happened
No.
to make it so scary?
No, the reason why it's called the Mystery House is because apparently Sarah Winchester, who was the heiress to the Winchester gun, manufacturers, she didn't start it, right? But she felt bad that, all these people died from guns. Now I have to do something. And she would see like a psychic or something, or spiritual leader, and they said, told her to do certain things. And one of them was never stop building your house. Never stop building it. So she kept building, but it got to a point where we're like, okay, I'm just going to put a door here, but there's a wall.
Like you go to the top of the steps and the door goes nowhere.
Yeah, that's right. You go to the top of the steps, the door goes nowhere. There's all these weird, odd rooms. She never stopped building it, and it's unfinished because she died, and she couldn't stop building it, so it's unfinished. It's really weird.
Secret rooms. Yep.
Secret rooms. Yeah,
So it's
so,
interesting that you didn't take that sentence and like think outside of the box and say, maybe the psychic's not saying keep building your physical house, but maybe it's your mental house or
yeah.
your keep giving to others. Like, I think she really was like, well, she said house. So,
Very literal,
right?
very literal.
Instead of, I feel like she might have meant like something else with that statement. But so, okay, from Colorado, hands down, the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park. It's scary. That's all you have to say. The Shining.
Shiny.
Oh, my God.
I don't even like to drive by, you guys. I won't stay there. I don't want to attend brunch there. It's
it's
beautiful.
not in the middle of nowhere,
No, it's
because in
a
the movie,
park.
they're driving forever.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Estes Park has like you're driving, but in that
Me and
hotel.
Clive stayed there at 19. They loved it. Yeah. it's very
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, it's gorgeous. It's a 5-star hotel. They've got a beautiful restaurant. But no, thank you. I'll eat elsewhere. Not my thing. Not my thing.
Carolyn, there was one thing I definitely want to say
Yes.
about the panels, because the executive panel
Oh, yes.
was awesome. It was so awesome because, yeah, I think about the things that were done for the employees of KHM during the particular pandemic, et cetera. There were so many things that were brought forth that clearly matched directly with the vision, mission, and core values of this company. I mean, it was heart touching. I mean, it really was very heart touching to hear the things that were talked about. So I just want to say it really brought it home.
And those are things that we tend to never hear.
Yeah.
We never even know that they're going on. And so it was really heartwarming to have the executives come and talk to us and be so open and just share.
I think that, that live in gratitude, be kind, live big. Rick had mentioned being neighborly.
Yes.
And again, you can take that in so many different directions. But I feel like those were such huge takeaways this week. I feel energized, ready to take on the next project, ready to work with an amazing team that I finally get to see in person. And that's not just this team, it's the entire team at KHM. So it was just an amazing event, and I knew it was going to be great. I knew it was going to be good. I did not know it was going to be amazing.
Yes.
And that really is what it was for me. And
For me, it was those unplanned moments.
Yeah.
You know, the late evening chats.
Yeah.
And there's so many people I've met during this time online. We've talked on the phone, we've chatted on Facebook, we've offered advice to each other, and then to be able to finally connect in person after all this time and have a late night drink at the Lazy Lizard or whatever that bar down the street was. It was a lizard. All those unplanned moments were really special, and just to observe it too, because there were some people, you know, they really knew each other. You can tell they go to events with each other. They must plan it all the time, and to see them embrace for the first time, hanging out and enjoying that glass of wine or whatever they were drinking.
do you know how thrilled I was to hear that people made my rib recipe?
No.
Several times. I made it and I loved it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, we kind of do this stuff for fun. But when someone says, oh, I made that and my husband loved them,
That's cool.
that made my day. I don't care if it's 2 people. I'm like,
How many episodes are we at now?
this is 39.
It's been
Wow.
almost a year, or
It'll be a year in January.
January 3rd or
when
4th.
some people would come to you and remember you said something. I don't remember even saying that. Okay.
Yes. An agent actually said, I thought you were from Wisconsin because you said something about something, and I don't know if it was cheese or the Packers. And I was like, well, I'm not from Wisconsin, and I have no idea what I could have said. But hey,
I like cheese.
that works. That works for me. I know you were going to say something.
One thing that I took away was the laughter.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I don't think I've had a belly laugh like some of the ones we did. It was just fantastic, and it felt so good. And to see everybody sharing that was just really, really special.
There was a lot of sincerity, a lot of caring, a lot of love, a lot of relationship that you saw. I know the D&I committee went out to eat one night, and it was really an amazing night. We had conversations. People asked, I think, Carolyn, you asked. It was like, the conversations we had were real. I mean, real conversations about the real topics. And it was so nice to be able to share opinions without someone feeling offended. We literally had deep conversation about each person's thoughts and how it made them feel and where it came from, et cetera. And one person after that came up to me and says, I'm glad you shared what you shared, because now I understand more about how someone in my family was feeling about X, Y, Z. And I really didn't get it at the time, you know? So it was just, it was an amazing time together. I mean, it really was.
You got 1 minute to finish your drink.
Oh, no, there's no way. Thank you so much for being here. We want to thank our sponsors. Who are they? Apple Vacations, Fun Jet Vacations, Carnival Cruise Line, Princess Cruise Line, and Sandals and Beaches Vacations. You guys, we loved being with you here this week. I think the big takeaway is if you weren't able to be here, we'd love to see you in the future, but relationships in this industry are important. So if you can't be with us, be sure you're with others that are out there in the industry, because it's important to you, it's important to your businesses, it's important to your sanity right now. So thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you next week as we celebrate our 40th episode. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Bye.